Some of the most important health decisions you will make are actually going to be made at the grocery store. So we're gonna go on a little tour of the grocery store to help you understand how to navigate it more efficiently and effectively to help you in your plant-based goals. What is inside your cart is symbolic of what you will be eating. So your goal is to fill your cart with 90% plants. That's it. And we'll check at the end to see if that's what we end up doing. This is the healthiest part of the grocery store, the produce section. This is where you want to get most of your food. You want your cart full of all of these fresh fruits and vegetables. And remember that instead of buying snack foods, you want to think of these apples, bananas, and pears first, and those will be your new snack fruits. So think of your meals, think of your snacks, and try to fill your cart as much as possible because this food is medicine. All right, I always grab a bunch of peppers. I always grab fresh herbs like parsley and cilantro. And it's a great opportunity to try something new like parsnips if you've never had a parsnip before, rutabagas, turnips, celery roots. And there's a lot of recipes on forksoverknives.com where you can just enter in the fruit or vegetable and those recipes will pop up. Bok choy is a cruciferous vegetable. It actually has a ton of calcium. It's really good in a lot of stir fries and curries. It's a great one to have on hand and a unique cruciferous vegetable that we usually don't think about. Leafy greens and beets. You definitely want to take some. I like to make some kale chips from kale and then some salads as well. If you've never tried different types of leafy greens, this is also an opportunity to pick something out that's new. I only pick out one new thing once a week. We always get a variety of pears and apples. My kids love to snack on those, and it's just nice to have on our counter as an easy grab and go. Now I have 8 people that I'm trying to feed. I usually grab at least 3 bunches of bananas for the week for my family. And they're cheap and very filling, especially for my little kids. We also love mangoes. We eat them as snacks and put them in our oatmeal in the morning. We usually grab a bunch. Right now they're on sale for $1 each, so we're grabbing a whole lot. Dates are really important to have on hand. They're really great for all the energy bites. They're incredibly sweet. I usually don't eat them plain. I'll eat them with a little bit of peanut butter. Make sure you pit them. Like these ones are whole. So notice that you'll have to pit them on your own or you can buy them pitted. If they are pitted, they're usually a little more dry. And so sometimes you'll want to soak them when making energy bites, but they're definitely something to have on hand at all times. Don't forget to pick up some berries. I actually prefer my berries frozen, but I do grab some to have on hand for just like a fruit salad. I always get limes and lemons for recipes. It's always nice to have on hand. And then the cuties for snack options for my kids. Cruciferous vegetables, the broccoli, the kale. We already talked about the bok choy, the cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. Make sure that you're getting a variety of cruciferous vegetables in your cart. We always get leafy greens for salads. Sometimes I just buy them pre-cut for convenience for my kids, then they can grab them and go. Carrots, I'll make sure to pick up some hummus as well. All right, let's talk about dressings. There's a lot of really great dressings at Trader Joe's, but since we're not at Trader Joe's, one of my favorite dressings, they do have yogurt in them, so it's not dairy-free, but I really do like this Bolthouse Farms. You'll find them in the refrigerated section by the produce, and it's a really great brand. It's the healthiest and tastes the best. It is not completely plant-based though. I like this dressing because it doesn't have as much oil as other dressings do, but if you can find a dressing that uses olive oil instead of any other type of oil, that's another really great dressing to choose from. Avocados are really good healthy fats and perfect, especially if you have kids that are 3 years and younger. They need a lot of healthy fat. Even just kids in general need more fat than adults do, and avocados and nuts and seeds are all really great options. We also got some cucumbers and tomatoes. We got some celery. They're really great for snacks for my kids, putting peanut butter in the middle with some chocolate chips on top. Spinach or any other type of leafy green. This is great because it has a good variety. It doesn't just have spinach, it has bok choy and some baby chards. Really great for smoothies and to cook with. We make sure to get a bunch of onions. Almost every single recipe calls for at least an onion. So we buy the big bag. I also make sure to get some red onions. And then we buy a variety of potatoes. Potatoes are our go-to meals. When we can't think of anything else to cook for dinner, it is our quick and easy meal, is potatoes. All right, you are definitely going to want to buy some nuts as well. Almonds are really great for snacking. Walnuts are awesome to combine with some dates for energy bites. And then cashews are perfect in place of dairy for a lot of recipes. So for creams, you'll want to make sure you're buying some raw, unsalted cashews. If you don't have any allergies, make sure you're doing a variety of nuts. They're great in healthy fats, will help you keep you full, and they're a perfect grab-and-go snack. So as you can see, we're about to leave the produce section and most of our cart is filled with just fresh produce. All right, the non-dairy yogurts can sometimes be a great option instead of sour cream in a lot of recipes. Make sure you buy the unsweetened kind if you're going to replace sour cream. One of the biggest reasons for avoiding buying milk is because milk contains IGF-1, which is a growth hormone, which tells cancer cells to grow really fast. It can also produce acne in young adults. And so another great option obviously is all of the plant milks that are available at the store. Choose any type. They all are wonderful options because they don't have that growth hormone in them. For babies, you want to make sure to choose soy milk because it has extra fat in them and extra vitamins that babies need. And so after 1 year of age, when they go off of breast milk, you'll want soy milk instead of the other plant milk options. Organic is always best. Make sure you buy unsweetened milk to have on hand for a lot of recipes that will call for milk. You don't want it to be super sweet. Cereal aisle. This one's a tough one. You're going to want to buy the most whole grain cereal as possible with the least amount of sugar as possible. So good luck.
Morning Oat Crunch.
Some other really great options over here. Remember, whole grain with the least amount of sugar and the most amount of fiber. Of course, the absolute best in the cereal aisle is going to be the oatmeal, and organic is best. Try not to get the quick oats, but the whole oats, the old-fashioned oats, and organic if you can. All right, the spice aisle. This is where the real chefs start to shine. Remember, spices aren't only just great for flavor, but they're also really good because they have antioxidants, they're anti-inflammatory, and they help your body in so many ways. But because you're not eating as much dairy and as much meat, you want to use spices more to up that flavor as well. One of the best sugar options you will find in the grocery store will be coconut sugar. So if you can find it, make sure to snag some coconut sugar to have on hand. And the reason why it's so good is because it also contains fiber. Try to pick up some whole wheat flour, 100% whole wheat, organic flour if possible, regular whole wheat flour if you can't buy organic. And my favorite, this store actually doesn't have it, but my favorite is white whole wheat flour because it's a little bit lighter than that kind of heavy whole wheat, but it still is just as healthy. I also like to have almond flour on hand. There's a lot of recipes that you can use almond flour instead of regular flour. This store is currently out of my favorite chocolate chips, but you are going to want to try and buy the non-dairy chocolate chips if possible. Most chocolates will have, like these ones will have like a chocolate liquor instead of actual chocolate. And these ones have chocolate, but then they also have a filler, a soy-based filler, and that's an emulsifier so that it mixes everything together because they take out the cocoa butter and put some of it back in, but not all of it. So they need to use soy to help emulsify everything, and also has natural flavors. The organic chocolate and the non-dairy chocolate are going to be just a little bit better for you. This is where you can play the good, better, best game. When it comes to peanut butter, all type of peanut butter is good. There is just like that spreadable, regular, creamy peanut butter. Usually it has hydrogenated oils, which are not that good for your arteries. So a better option would be more of a natural peanut butter that uses palm oil instead. It's still spreadable, but palm oil still is pretty high in saturated fat. So the very best option would be a peanut butter that just has peanuts, and that's it. Maybe a little bit of salt, but usually just peanuts is the best option to go when it comes to peanut butter. When it comes to ketchup, organic is actually best because regular ketchup usually has high fructose corn syrup, which you want to avoid. And so if you buy organic, you know it will not have that high fructose corn syrup. Same thing with barbecue sauce. Most barbecue sauces have high fructose corn syrup. So you'll want to read those labels as well. All right, oils. There's a lot of oils to choose from. The only oils you are going to try and buy now will be olive oil for low heat, avocado oil for high heat. Olive oil, when choosing your olive oil, make sure to try and buy one that's in a dark bottle, right? And that is extra virgin, and that it says cold pressed. So that will be your goal. Remember, avocado oil is great for high heat. So if you're gonna buy a spray, it's nice to buy these avocado oil sprays if possible. But again, you'll want to use them sparingly. You'll want to buy whole wheat tortillas if you can, but there's always an exception to the rule. As you can see, there's a ton of ingredients that you may not be able to pronounce. And so if you can find the ones that may not be whole wheat, but just have a couple ingredients, that might be an even better option.
We always buy a big bag of brown rice.
Beans, this is where you will replace a lot of your meat, and this is where a lot of your protein will come from. So get a variety of different beans. Dried, if possible, are best. And then you'll make sure to soak them overnight the day before you use them. The nice thing about lentils is you usually don't have to soak lentils. Red lentils are awesome for a lot of spaghetti-based dishes, so I make sure to grab these as well. Canned, because cans are nice to have on hand when you're in a hurry and you don't have time to think ahead of a recipe you're going to be cooking. But it's nice to have dry beans as well because they're a lot cheaper and they're better for you without as much sodium. A lot of these pastas are filled with canola oil. You'll want to choose a pasta that has olive oil instead of canola oil as it's in one of its ingredients. Even better if it has no oil. Usually those are the canned pasta sauces. All right, the pasta aisle, you may have to go pretty low to find the whole grain options, but make sure that you're getting the whole grain, whole wheat pasta. Another great option is any pastas that are made with beans, right? So the chickpea or the red lentil pastas. When you boil these pastas though, make sure you don't overboil them because they can turn into mush. The tricky thing with store-bought juices is that they have to be pasteurized. And that means that the juices are stripped of all its fiber and then they're boiled to, kill any germs and anything that might be in them. But the problem with that is it also can kill off a lot of the antioxidants and the vitamins. So avoid juices in general, but sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of juice for your smoothies. And there are other juices that not only contain, the juice, but they can put in spices like turmeric. I like this carrot juice with turmeric in it for some smoothies to give a little bit more sweetness because it has the turmeric, and carrot juice usually has a little bit less sugar than other juices. If you absolutely love juice, I suggest buying a juicer and juicing it yourself because even though you are still stripping those fruits and vegetables of the fiber, at least you'll get all the antioxidants and vitamins because it won't have to go through the pasteurization process. The tricky thing about snack foods is even though sometimes they look like they're a great healthy option, usually if you read the ingredients, oil is going to be at least one of the top 5 ingredients. And you want to avoid those types of oils, all the inflammatory oils. And so if it doesn't have olive oil or avocado oil, anything else is not going to be that great for you, and so you'll want to avoid it, which means you'll pretty much avoid all snack foods. A great option for snacks is to just buy the popcorn and use your air popper and pop it yourself at home. And then you can put in a little bit of apple cider vinegar, some nutritional yeast, and make it really yummy and really nutritious. Bread is another tricky one. You may have to spend a little bit of time reading the ingredients. Make sure you buy 100% whole wheat bread. A lot of times it will say wheat, but if you read the ingredients, it's mixed with that enriched flour, right? Which is what you want to be avoiding. So 100% whole wheat, and then the least amount of sugar for the most amount of fiber. So you will have to compare brands, and if you can, organic is best so that you're avoiding that glyphosate and other chemicals that are spread on the wheat. I always pick up hummus. If I don't have time to make hummus on my own, it's just nice to have that as an option, even though yes, they still have oil in them and they're not as healthy as homemade hummus would be. So I like to buy my berries frozen. I just think they taste better, and I like that they are cheaper and they last longer. All right, here is our cart. So we're not perfect. We still chose some treats. My daughter picked out some of her favorite treats to have, but everything else is filled with fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, beans, legumes, right? And so that's what you want your cart to be looking like. 90% of that is plant foods with, you know, some 10% of fun. Cart of groceries. The last time we went grocery shopping was 2 weeks ago, and so it's been a while. So we had to replenish a lot, and the total for a family of 8 was $248.17.